everyone. Welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul, and that's Aaron, and he's drinking right now. This is the live edition, the pre-shoot for episode number 69. So this week sucked.
There was one decent game. The Carolina game was exciting to watch.
That was a very good game, and it's unfortunate that you can only walk away with 1 point when your team looks that good.
You get to the shootout, it should be a tie at that point. It's just a skills. I hate shootouts. I absolutely hate them. They could go either way. I mean, imagine they won that game in the shootout.
Yeah.
Would you feel a little bit better about it?
The extra point?
But I mean, the extra point's great, but I mean, the play of the game is the same.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
That's why it needs to change.
So we are here ready to take your comments and your questions. Aaron's got the laptop out. We are without Super Key Grip Joe tonight, so it'll be a bumpy ride, much like this week for the Sharks.
Right.
So if you've got any comments, questions, go ahead and send them on over, and we'll address them right when we can. Do we have one?
Ben and Gunsry just said, "Hey guys, didn't see any of the games this week. Can you guys touch up on them?" We just did. It was that bad.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. We started off with Washington. Washington thumped us pretty hard.
Washington made us look like an AHL team.
Yeah,
that game was. They look like that's a Stanley Cup contender team.
There you go.
There. That's where the Sharks should be.
Yeah,
and they obviously were not up to the task. So
yeah,
they were good. They're a good team. They have elite players. I mean, John Carlson's having a heck of a season.
Oh yeah,
I have him on my fantasy team. That's how I know that.
Yeah.
But he is on the level of who was it? It was Bobby Orr, not even Nick Lidstrom, but Phil, not Phil Housley. God, I can't even think of the guys. But anyway, there haven't been many defensemen that are doing what he's doing on point pace right now. It's insane.
Yeah,
he's leading the team in points. Mm-hmm. I mean, Burns kind of does that usually too for the Sharks, but John Carlson, man, he's having a heck of a season. Thank you, Sharks fan 27 for the $3.99 to start off the show, boys. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Probably $1 for every game of the week.
All right, let's go to some questions here. Some stuff's coming in now. Noah Claxton, do you guys have any thoughts on why the Sharks either go so hot or so cold rather than play consistent?
Every team does that, though. Like, almost every team goes through this. And we talked about this before. Every fan base says the same thing, too. Which team is going to show up?
I think it's a little different. Some teams, like the way the Sharks kind of play, is they'll string together 5 wins. Mm-hmm. Then they go on 4 losses. Other teams will go 2 wins, a loss, a win, a loss, 2 wins, a loss. Like,
sure,
staying ahead 500, but not all at once. The Sharks kind of, I don't know. It's different. It feels different. So
of course it does, because we're Sharks fans.
Well, I know,
that's my point.
Doing it that way, where you go on streaks of like 5-game winning streaks, 5-game losing streaks, you get high highs, and then you get super low lows.
Absolutely, you do.
So I think it feels worse.
So for me, like, whether you go on a streak and then you go on a losing streak and then you go on a winning streak, and is it the same as if you win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game? I mean, really, it is. It's just the perception to the fans, right? So a lot of that has to do with which team you're playing that night. A lot of that has to do with the amount of travel that you had in that week, or whatever the excuse may be, right? So there's a lot of things that kind of go in. I don't know. I have a hard time with this thought that the Sharks are in any way unique. In that they go hot and they go cold. In the same way that a goal scorer goes, he's a streaky goal scorer. No, he's not a streaky goal scorer. It's just that goal scorer is typically spent. A guy who's a goal scorer scores what, 30 goals in a season?
That's it. Maybe anyone that scores more than 30
is considered a goal scorer. So call it 35. Yeah. Even at 35, that's still
less than a goal a game.
Exactly, that's less than a goal a game.
Half a goal a game.
And there are games where they're going to get a hat trick. There's games where they're going to get 2. That means there's a few games in a row now that this guy who's a pretty good goal scorer is going to go cold. So I don't know. I have a hard time with that. But yeah, no, it is. Sometimes they're hot and they're on fire, and sometimes they're not and they're cold. And other times the camera's panning up and down on you, and you have no idea what's going on. So it sucks when it happens. Don't do it again. It sucks when it happens. But it's one of those things where this is where you have to kind of look back to the basics. This is what Jamie Baker talked about with us. Getting back to those things that were hard for him to get him back into the groove, doing the very basic thing that got him to where he was in the NHL, that got him or made him successful in this league. And I think this is what the Sharks need to go back to doing, is getting back to basics. For me, it all comes back down to, again, playing that good, solid defensive game first.
Yeah.
we've seen way too many times, and I know a lot of you guys are going to go, they've got tons of goals scored on them this week. It's all the goaltending. The goaltending sucks, right? And Aaron and I just looked at a whole bunch of these goals again, because I saw it the first time. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, take a look at these goals again. Now, there are some goals, yes, absolutely. Jones, Dell, they either goofed up or they were set, ready to take the puck on, and it goes over their shoulder.
Yeah.
It was a good shot. It's a snipe, but that's on them. I get that. A lot of these other goals, man, no one's clearing the front of the net out. So in terms of being hot and cold, sometimes they're playing that system. Sometimes they're playing a team that's not going to barge their way into the slot there. And some teams are going to get in there and be the bully inside of the slot area. And if you're not pushing them out like the Sharks haven't been, well, this is the type of result you're going to get.
Sorry, I was reading.
No,
I
you're
was
fine.
about to sneeze, and then it went away. Paul Coffey was what I was thinking
Hella
of
pro.
earlier.
Yeah,
Paul Coffey.
Okay.
Thank you, Deuce of Shoeless. That helped. Going to, I'm going to say it's Gun, G-U-H-N. Power play has a heartbeat again at the cost of the PK, it seems. Okay, the PK was ridiculous, over 90%. Last year, I think the leading team was in the high 80s.
Yeah.
So over 90 was pretty ridiculous. What I like to say is a market correction. And I just looked right now because they let in some power play goals. 2, I think, in each of the last 2 games. They're now at 88.5%, which is still elite. They're still number 1 in the league. But we knew it was going to come down.
Yeah.
It's going to come down. They're going to give up some goals. They're going to, that's the same thing. It's going to go hot and cold. But 88.5 seems about right.
Yeah.
I think.
I think that's about where it was last season, not for the Sharks, but for the league's best.
Yeah.
Was about 88.
So it's still
somewhere.
good. Yeah, they gave up a couple goals, but
yeah,
whatever. You're not going to not give up goals
when
on the power play.
when you give up 12 goals in 2 games,
Yeah.
there's bound to be a couple power play goals in there. I would hope that some of them are power play goals because that's pretty horrible 5-on-5. It was horrible 5-on-5 anyway.
Right.
Again, just poor defensive effort. Soft. 10-ply. Just
that's
impossibly soft.
I think that's the main problem with the Sharks.
Yeah.
Soft. That's probably, if you can boil it down to one thing, just the soft play, especially in front of their net. I mean, we just watched so many goals or so many chances where they weren't clearing the guys. The puck's right in front in the crease, or not in the crease, but in the slot, and guys are getting 2-3 whacks at it before they even get cleared out. And even then, they're not getting cleared out. Do you see, this is from Angela Nunez, do you see any shakeups coming? Is demotion to AHL trade shaping up, or guys getting sat? And there's a couple of questions. I'll just read a couple of these off because they're similar. Sarah said, what do you think the Sharks need to change after the last couple of games? Should Doug Wilson make a goalie trade? Which I always say no. However, I was thinking Dell for Georgiev. No. Varlamov, maybe. Leonard, maybe. Depending on... because they're backups.
No.
Well, they would. I mean, not 1-for-1. They wouldn't take Dell for that.
Yeah.
But getting one of those goalies, Georgiev, no, he's in. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but he's the backup / starter now in the Rangers.
Okay.
And Lundqvist is done. He's going to be retiring very soon, so that's their future. They wouldn't trade him.
Yeah.
Varlamov possibly because he's splitting duty. He's like a 1A 1B on the Islanders, but he gets hurt too much. I don't know. Leonard, I always liked Leonard. I think he's a great goalie. And he only signed a 1-year deal, I believe, in Chicago, which was odd because
but
Crawford.
It's like $4 million, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean they wouldn't be trading Dell. They'd be trading somebody, right?
Well, they would be trading
maybe Dell packaged with Dylan, maybe not. Because Dylan would be a rental player because he's a UFA. So that doesn't make sense to go to Chicago, who's not going to make playoffs. They're going to want younger prospect or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, let me jump back to Sharks fan 27. Thanks for another $9.99.
Oh. Thank you.
Uyghur hit Kane is similar to Carlson hit on Wagner. EK65 got a 2-game suspension for it. Will player safety take a look at this and give Uyghur a suspension? It's the NHL player. It's the, what do you call it? The player safety. Roll the dice. You never know. They could say if tomorrow they announce there's a phone call, then yes. If they ever announce that they're going to have, if they're looking at it or anything, then it's a guarantee. I think a phone call is a guaranteed 5 game, or in hearing is 5 games in person.
Okay.
Phone call is less than that or something.
Okay.
But either way, if you hear something, it's going to be something.
I had a hard time buying in with some of what Evander Kane had been alluding to previously about how he's treated differently, and specifically people of color in the sport being treated differently. And I wasn't really on board with it. I thought maybe it was just kind of Evander. But I don't know. There's just been a couple things. Maybe it is still just Evander. I don't know. But there's been a couple times we've seen weird things happening with Evander Kane specifically, it doesn't go his way.
It's like he's not getting the benefit of the doubt, basically, for certain things. Like this hit.
There wasn't even a penalty called on the play, and whether you think it was a headshot or not, this is a hit that the NHL wants out of the NHL. This is an east-west hit on the blind side. He's got his head turned this way, about to receive a pass. I don't even know if he actually received the pass or not. I have to take a look at it again. But the hit comes from his shoulder over here coming this direction, not like he's coming this way. He can't even see him because even if he was looking this way, you can't see him. So that's the type of hit that the NHL said that they want to get rid of.
Yeah, it might not necessarily a head hit, but a blind hit, which is what they added to the rules of being a blind-sided hit.
And it's, it happened. And no hand was raised.
Do you think there should be? How about this? Do you think there should be a suspension? If you were player safety, do you think there should be a suspension?
I don't know about. Here's the thing. I don't know that there should be a suspension for that call specifically. It should have been called on the ice though.
But because it wasn't, usually if it's not called, like if that was a 5-minute major or something,
then you gets
kicked out of the game, they usually don't do a suspension. But if there was nothing, they go back and they could fine him or suspend him.
Yeah. Here's my problem with that. It's not the player's fault. What Uyghur. It's not whatever his name is. I don't care who he is. That player. It's not his fault that the refs didn't make the call. So to suspend him after the fact, to me, is doing the player an injustice for what the refs missed. If you want to fine that player, okay, cool, that's fine. I'm cool with fining the player. But then you go after the refs.
Yeah, I don't completely disagree.
Okay.
But I think refs are going to miss things. And I think that's why player safety is there, to both step in for stuff that they missed and to apply the rules when they should be applied. In this case, if a hit like that and they're trying to get it out of the league, you need to suspend him so that he gets the message,
okay,
hey, I didn't get away with it this time. They're still always looking over. Big Brother's always looking. I have to be on my best behavior.
So you're more about the sending of the message so that people see
Absolutely.
it. Okay, and I'm on board with that
setting a precedent, basically, for other people in the league. It's a good time to set an example, like, hey, if anyone else does a dirty hit like this, this is what's going to happen.
And I'm on board with that. Here's my only thing I want to say is they should be sending that message to the refs too.
They might. They just don't announce it like they would for player safety.
Which is cool, and I'm just saying I hope they do. Because to me, that is the thing that needs to change. When a referee... Look, refs miss calls. They miss trips. They miss slashes. They miss the little things that happen. How do you miss when the puck is going to a player and he gets helicoptered? Like, you didn't miss that. You saw it and decided that it wasn't a penalty. And whether or not it was a headshot is irrelevant. They're saying they don't want that kind of hit, the east-west blindsided hit.
Yeah.
So that's something that, whether it's behind closed doors or not, I hope they do go to those refs and say, look, you guys need to recognize that this is the type of thing that we don't want to see anymore, and you need to call that. Yeah. So, anyway.
All right, going back a little bit, Angelo Nunes, I think Šimik and Hurdle have been playing hurt, definitely.
Yeah.
They're not 100%.
Yeah.
Hurdle especially, and Šimik, both of them.
Šimik left. They sent him home.
Yeah.
No, they sent him home. Before this game, they sent Šimik home on a plane so that he can start his 2-week rehabilitation thing. I don't know if he's doing another surgery or whatever it is, but something.
They might be scoping it.
It's a minor thing that
they're
it's just
scoping it then.
Yeah, a couple weeks is all it is for Šimik.
I feel like that happened to Jumbo after his first one. He had to clean it out.
I think you're right.
Scar tissue and stuff.
So Šimik was probably playing injured. That's probably part of some of the less than ideal play, we'll say, that we've seen Šimik have over the last couple games. He probably had something that was aggravating him, tried to play through it. They said, no, we're not doing that anymore. Go ahead, go home, get it fixed up. That way, you don't have a bigger injury, and then you're back on the bench or back in the press box, for a longer period of time. So I think that's the right move. Take care of your players. Get them 100% before you throw them back on the ice. This isn't playoffs. I think this team can be strong enough at times when we're playing the system, when we're playing good defense. This team
stronger.
Exactly. This team can do it. It's just that they're not. Right now, they look like a playoff team that may not make playoffs, You know what I mean? But they
You
look
think
like
they look like a playoff team right now?
I
'Cause
think they,
don't.
no. The way they're playing right now, no, they're not.
You're saying they are.
But
they should be a playoff
they
team.
should be. They really should be. They have enough firepower. They have enough talent. They should be a playoff team. And right now they don't look it. Right.
Noah Claxton, another question. Thoughts on Patty and Jumbo? Are you guys believers in moving on from them after the season? A lot of people believe we should get younger, me being one of them. I don't. I've been saying this, I think, all season. This is Joe's last year for sure. I mean, we saw some soft plays we were just looking at that he didn't box out or clear that guy out in front of the net. He's just not moving enough. And Kurz was on here on, I guess our episode came out on Thursday. He had some thoughts on that too. And basically, he doesn't move like he used to move. And this is pretty much it. He's going to be done.
He doesn't move like he used to move, and he didn't even move all that great before anyway. His hands are kind of going on him a little bit, I think. He's not able to puck to protect as well, and he still has great passing ability, but sometimes the passes aren't as accurate as we've seen Joe make. So I think all of that's kind of starting to break down just a little bit, and it's unfortunate because I do love the guy. He's a great character guy, and if you've ever gone to a practice and you've seen him having fun with the boys out there, it's going to crush him when he finally retires. It will absolutely crush him, and I'm not looking forward to that. So it's unfortunate. But, yeah, no, I still feel like Joe is going to try to do just that one more year just because it's Joe. Not that he should. Honestly, I think you're right. I think he should retire. I just don't know that he'll want to. And it may be up to Doug telling him, no, sorry, you can't.
I think he knows.
Yeah?
I think Joe knows. I think this is...
Maybe.
He can't go through that grind again, basically.
As far as Marleau, though, and I think we're on the same page with Marleau, we both think Marleau's got at least another year, probably 2 left in him.
I'd go year by year, but I think he has at least one more after this.
Sure, yeah. No, he's still got his legs moving. He's still dangerous with the puck on his stick.
He knows the system and plays it, and it works to his advantage.
Yeah. So no, I think Marleau will probably stick around longer than Jumbo does.
I would love to have Marleau on the team again as a third line left/right winger next season, right? Yeah. It does not hurt. It helps with the depth, and he's a guy that you can send up a line or two if you need to, if somebody's hurt.
No, exactly.
Whatever. Ben and Gunsry. On the bright side, last time we changed the captain, we went all the way to the Cup Finals. #hopeful fact.
Well, let's not forget also that when we went to the Cup Finals, we were 18-2
in January
at one point. Yeah. So it's not like you have to have the best record. You know, again, there's months of hockey to play now. Yeah. It's maybe an omen of things to come the way that they've been playing. You know, and I can understand that, but you also have to remember we came off of a pretty strong November, so. You know, it does feel like, hey, you know, we were bad in October, we're great in November, and then all of a sudden December comes around, we got a 4-game losing skid going. So what's going on with this team? Like, I understand that we were talking about at the very top of the show, but you know, you just never know. This team could turn itself back around again. You know, again, that November, if they do that in January, if they do that through February, we're still, you know, a playoff team. And who knows when you get to the dance, you got a chance. So you just never know.
I mean, the good news right now, just looking at the standings, we're not dropping too far behind. Like, there's the gap.
Other teams are losing too.
The gap isn't that bad. Yeah. Sharks are sitting at 32 points. Vegas is in that third spot at 35 points. 3 points difference. But there's 3 teams in between that.
Florida's got 35 points as of tonight too. So we just got beat by a team that essentially had the same amount of points as us. So
yeah, they're sitting at 35.
Yeah. So we're before tonight's win, they had 33.
Right.
So I don't really look at the standings so much right now because so much is going to change. Things are going to shuffle around quite a bit. I mean, the guys that are at the bottom are probably still going to be at the bottom because you're going to start seeing them selling off and everything too. But I don't put too much stock in the standings right now anyway.
Josh Fraulein. Yeah. Can we please put LeBanc back on the top 2 lines?
Can he earn it?
He has to earn it. That's why he's not there. It's not his offensive. It's not the offense that's the problem. It's the soft play on defense. Yeah. And it's the non-200-foot game because you don't always have the puck in the offensive zone. You're going to have to spend some time in the defensive zone. You have to know how to play defense. Yeah. Even as a winger, you have to cover the defenseman on the other team and not be soft. So he needs to work on his game and round it out a little bit better.
Yeah. See, and I know what he's going to say when we just say, can he earn it, right? You know exactly what he's thinking right now is, well, he scored a goal. right? But that's not enough. That's not it. You should be scoring goals because your whole game is offense. You got to show the Sharks brass more than just that, hey, I can put the puck in the net. You got to show them that you can do more than just that. Now, the Sharks could certainly use a little bit more of putting the puck in the net, so I know where you're going with that. But, if you're a liability out there defensively, then you're not helping the biggest source of the Sharks' problem right now, in my opinion. They're soft defensively. It's not the goaltending so much as it is everything that's in front of that goaltender just not doing anything to help him out. And the goalies that we have, don't get me wrong, they're not elite. They need that help.
Yeah.
They absolutely need that help. And the thing is, the Sharks need to recognize that they don't have an elite goaltender back there that can bail him out. That's the system they need to play, is being tough in front of him, pushing them to the outside, only allowing them to get those shots that are in the lower danger areas, medium danger areas. Don't let them have those high danger chances. And that's just not happening.
Couple thoughts or a couple questions on Timo Meier, because he hasn't been producing lately. Timo's on pace for he's on pace for sub 50 points right now.
Yeah.
He'll pick it up eventually. I think obviously he's not quite ready for prime time. In not that he's not NHL ready, but he's not ready to be that all-star superstar player yet. Do I think he could be there? Eventually. I think it's a grind to play in the NHL full season and be dominant more games than not. That's kind of what separates and creates all-stars, is the guys that are getting points in bunches almost every night. It's like almost hard to keep them off the score sheet for other teams. Like, look at, not that this is a great example, but Draisaitl and McDavid, two superstars. Why are they so good? They're consistently good. They're obviously very good, but skill-wise. But, I mean, that's what makes a superstar, is being consistent.
And that's, again, people say, well, we need players that are more consistent. Guys, that's the goal for everyone. Everybody is trying to be more consistently good. Like, that's why goal scorers score in streaks, and I'm using air quotes. That's why they score in streaks, because it's hard to be consistent, right? The guys that score tons and tons of goals, like, let's say Ovechkin, even he has nights or a few nights in a row where he doesn't win. Just like a team may have a good long winning streak, and then they have a streak where they don't win, because it's hard to be consistent. Consistency isn't like the benchmark that everybody should be at, and then you can overachieve. That is the overachieving. Being consistent is that upper echelon. If you can be consistent, you are the best in this league, essentially. Right. That's the goal. The goal is consistency. It's not the bar.
He has the skill to get there.
Yeah.
But power forward, he's a power forward. Those take a little bit longer. They don't hit like their peak until maybe their late 20s, like 27, 28. Then they're like, that's the best that they're going to be. They're going to be at the top of their game. And he's only 20.
I forget.
24.
I think
he's still
23.
pretty young.
Yeah.
So he still has some time. We haven't seen the best of Timo yet.
Yeah, and as far as pace and whatnot, I think kind of the same thing that we talked about with, again, points and standings. And you look at, what does the model tell you, and what pace are they on? All that stuff doesn't really mean anything yet.
I mean, the Sharks, one point in end of October, they had the 2%.
Yeah.
Of making the playoffs, right? 2% chance.
Right.
And then at the end of November, that shot up to, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but people were talking about it, like, oh, they're not going to make playoffs, they're done. Whatever. It's
so when you talk about a player's point pace or whatever, okay, so maybe they were slumping a bit, then they catch fire again. It's like you just never know.
Last year, Pavelski ended with 38 goals. He started off the season with one goal in 10 games or something.
Okay, so let's just use that real quick. 1 goal in, say, 10 games.
Yeah.
So times 8. So Pavelski was on pace for 8 goals that season, and he ended up with 38.
Right.
I don't pay attention to the pace, and that's. Like, okay, so it's a good kind of indicator later in the season, because then you can tell, like, closer to what he might actually end up with. But this early, that's like, what was it that time? Kane scored 2 goals in the first game of the season or something. Somebody scored 2 goals.
For 100.
Yeah, he's on pace for 164 goals.
Yeah.
Like, the earlier in the season you go, the less it means, and we're still pretty early in the season. So I wouldn't put too much stock in point paces just yet. You never know who's going to step up and frankly, who's going to fall off too? I mean, somebody might be on a really good pace, and then all of a sudden, just off the cliff, right? So
here's a couple positive messages here.
Good, we need that.
Ben says, don't get too low on the low, guys. Lots of lows right now.
Got it.
And then, where's the other one? Brett Azevedo, Sharks fans need to calm down. Post All-Star break is the time to start worrying. I agree. It's too early. There's a lot of hockey left. Guys, we are not scoring. That is a problem. You're right. In the last few games, we haven't scored.
Yeah.
The Sharks haven't scored goals.
That is a problem. The bigger problem to me is that we're not playing good defensively. When you play good defensively, you stop the bleeding first of all, and then you get the puck back. Right now, they're not playing good enough defensively to even get possession of the puck back. Half the time, they're just passing around in our zone, and we're just kind of standing there staring at it, like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Go get the puck back. So I agree with you. We do need to score goals. I think the way we score goals, though, is by retaining possession of the puck or regaining possession of the puck from the defensive zone or from the neutral zone, not allowing them into our zone as easily, and we not allowing them to set up in our zone as easily either. I think the better you do that, the more chance you're going to be able to have the possession of the puck for longer periods of time. And also, you have to remember that there is a mental side to this too. When your team's down 5-1, you're probably not going to go out there and score a whole bunch of goals because everybody's feeling down on the bench, right? If you're playing good defensively and you keep the score close, even if you're losing 2-1, the guys on the bench are pretty jacked up. They're ready to get that goal, to get that tying goal and that go-ahead goal. When the game feels out of reach,
especially on the road too.
Yeah,
you just want
it's
to
tough.
move on to the next game, basically, mentally. I mean, we saw in the Tampa game, they scored with 25 seconds left. When it was already 6-1 to make it 7-1. It's like, whatever. Who cares at that point? I mean, it sucks for Dell.
Yeah.
Because he took it, but
that was the goal that I thought Dell should have had.
Right.
One of the two that Dell should have.
But again, 25 seconds left.
No, exactly. Like, who cares, right? So
it was a nice night.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Taking nothing away from the shooter. Yeah, of course.
Deuce is shoeless. Is it safe to say Radil is going to stay scratched, barring an injury, with the fingers crossed? Yeah. We talked about this with Kevin on Wednesday, that he wasn't sure why they haven't waived him.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty much done.
Doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I was like, maybe they're waiting until the holidays. Maybe they're waiting. I don't know. I don't know why.
As a courtesy to him?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Lundy, $1.99. What would you do for a Klondike bar? I think you meant Klondike.
Yeah.
Nice. What would I do for? I don't know. What would you do for a Klondike bar?
I'm not a huge Klondike bar fan. Like, I have to. What?
Way to ruin it.
No, I'm just saying. It's not. So what would I do?
What would you do for an It's-It?
I don't like It's at all.
Oh,
Oatmeal, isn't it?
what's the problem with
It's like
you?
an oatmeal cookie, isn't it?
Oh.
That's the problem right there. You start doing oatmeal cookie stuff, I'm out. If you're gonna do a giant Oreo sandwich thing, though, now we talking.
It's pathetic.
It's the way to my heart right there.
It's pathetic.
I would build a new set for a Klondike bar.
You would build a new set? I will get you a Klondike
Did you hear
bar.
that? I'm gonna buy a bunch of Klondike bars.
By the way, if anybody needs a really nice computer working desk, let us know.
It is for sale. It's a giant U-shape. L-shape? L-shape. No, U.
Yeah, it's a U-shape.
Yeah, it's a U-shaped desk.
So if anybody needs one, let us know.
All right, I'll take some more questions, but let's do roll call while we're at 9:30 right now. We'll do roll call. Tell us where you are watching and how you found us. And Kyle Hipwell says Sharks should play Kane and Meyer together. That would be a tough line to stop. Play Meyer at right wing, so he's left wing, right wing anyways. Hurdle, Kane, Meyer, one can dream.
I was just going to say Hurdle, Kane, Meyer would be...
Yeah, but Hurdle's not 100% right now.
Yeah, but when he is 100%, though.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. The lines could be put into the blender after two terrible losses. So we'll see what they bring against Nashville. But I think it'll be better when Hurdle's back.
So let's see. What would your other line be? It would be Couture center with Marleau and LeBanc. Mm-hmm. Those are two very different lines. One of them is very heavy and hard to play against. The other one's a lot more skill based.
Yeah.
Right. So you'd have one line that's all about dishing the puck around and firing shots on net, and the other line is just all about puck protection and crashing. That could be difficult for teams to adjust to when you got one line that does one thing and they do it very well, and you got another line that does a different thing entirely, but they do that very well too. And if you got the same pair of defense that's out there trying to adjust to the different play styles. That could get pretty confusing. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
We were talking about this off before we went online. Jumbo punching Mrazek was crazy.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you try and slash Joe like that. It's fantastic.
I don't even think Mrazek connected. It didn't look like he even connected,
No,
but Joe's like, I ain't having that.
Yeah. Well, that, and then Mrazek got in his face.
Yeah.
And so Joe's like, if you're going to step up,
Yeah.
man, step up.
Yeah.
Take that mask off. And then he hit him in the mask. He didn't really even get him. And then he full-on soccer dived on the ground.
My whole problem with it is...
Neymar got hit in the face.
Here's my problem. Are you telling me that you've taken a slap shot off the mask and you continued to play and that Joe's punch was...
He never left the game. He never
and
left.
He
He
didn't
come out.
leave the game. They didn't bother with the
Wasn't there a
concussion
quote-
protocol because they're like, he's fine.
There was a quote after, like, if he was hurt, he would have gone through the concussion protocol, and he didn't, so he was fine.
So...
He got a penalty on the play. Mrazek did, for slashing.
Oh, he did. Okay, yeah.
So the refs knew.
Yeah, I just...
That would have been great if they gave him, what's the call for diving? Embellishment.
Yeah.
Is it called embellishment, or is it called... I forget what the technical name is.
I think they might have a diving penalty for actually diving, and then they might have an embellishment penalty that's separate. I'm not really sure. Let us know if you happen to know, guys.
Angela Nunes, do you think we can get Kendall Coyne as a regular announcer? Maybe it's kind of a... Well, I know she lives in L.A., I believe. So she could be... Like, this is just her getting in. I wouldn't be surprised if she would work more full-time with L.A. or Anaheim because she lives down there.
I would say,
just easier for her.
Well, my whole reasoning for saying no is because she's an active player. Is she not? I mean, she's an active player.
Right. Yeah.
So
that too.
She comes and does the broadcast on her days off, essentially, when she can. But other than that, as far as I know, she's an active player, and it'd be like saying, "Hey, can Jumbo, do games for some other sports team or whatever?" Like, well, no,
cross games or something.
Yeah,
right?
sure, because Joe's busy playing.
Yeah.
So, I think she's got her own thing going on in terms of she's still a player. So,
Noah Claxton, I'd trade Dell in a Klondike bar for Leonard. That's good. Kirk McLean, do you think Doug Wilson is exploring options around the league? Yes. He doesn't stop.
Always.
He is always looking to... His ears are always open listening to other GMs or like kind of shopping other guys. That's how he found out about Joe Thornton. He heard, maybe he's looking to move him, and he was like, give me. Yeah. Probably same with Burns and Kane. Those big fish that he got, basically.
I mean, the Sharks could be 0-25 or whatever, and he'd be looking. The Sharks could be 25-0, and he'd be looking.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's
just constant. He's not sleeping in his office.
Absolutely.
Like waiting for the phone to ring.
Absolutely.
He's working the phones. He's doing all kinds. I mean, there's also scouts that scout current NHL players.
Yes.
So he could. I don't know if he's the main guy who's making. I don't know who makes the calls. Like of who you should go look for. Maybe a certain type of player or something, not like a specific player. And then they go to the teams or something, and then they narrow it down, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how the whole thing works. So. Where are we? Have you guys kept up? This is Deuce's Shoeless. Have you kept up with the coup this season? Shmyelevsky and Chikovic have been so disappointing. Any thoughts on our youth down there? They are young. They're only 20 now.
Yeah.
It's a big change when you go from the OHL, which is where they were, to AHL. Now you're playing against men. On their junior team, you're playing against teenagers. It's almost like going from high school / early college to professional league, because it is AHL is a professional league. It's not NHL. It's just a step below. But you're playing against. There's some seasoned veterans that have played hundreds of NHL games that are in the AHL, and so it's not just teenagers and the junior league, like, you're playing against guys that aren't as physically strong. They're not they haven't matured yet, basically. Their bodies haven't matured yet completely. So when you are the biggest, fastest guy and the most skilled guy in the junior league, it doesn't always translate to the AHL because now you're with bigger fish. So it's an adjustment. It takes a while. I'm not surprised. I mean, it kind of sucks because I had high hopes for them.
Yeah.
But we were talking about this with Barclay Goodrow, right?
Yep.
When we were talking about this with Kurz, when Pete DeBoer came into San Jose, he sent him down because he wasn't quite ready. He wasn't fully ready, and he needed to work on his game. And when he went down to the Barracuda, he was all the way down to the fourth line, almost getting scratched. And then he, it's like a kick in the rear for him. So he got it together and worked his way from the fourth line of the HL all the way to now second line, kind of, in the NHL. So it's not the end of the world. It's not like their careers are derailed because of it.
Yeah.
It'll be good for them to learn. They're still very young.
I think people forget we're talking about 6th and 7th round picks. I mean, these guys, the fact that they're even in the AHL is huge. So I'm looking forward to them being ready. I just don't know that they're going to be ready anytime soon. Now, I would love to have seen Chmielewski get a little bit more of a look. I think he's got incredible hands. I think he had something he was dealing with during this season. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't really follow the CUDA that closely. But I think there was something he was dealing with, and that he's kind of done with that now. And now he had kind of picked up his game a little bit. So, I know that there's been some blowout games with the CUDA. They had a big blowout game, and they lost a big one, and then they've lost a couple in the shootout, I think, recently too. I don't think they even have a winning record right now. But there's a lot of guys that are down there, like Aaron said, that are this is the development league kind of for a lot of these guys, a lot of these younger guys, going from the juniors, going from OHL is just. It's a big step, and the one thing that we've always heard every single time is that the speed of the game changes greatly. And so if he's having a hard enough time in the AHL, putting him in the NHL is just not going to work out just from a speed perspective. And like you said, bigger, stronger men who are used to playing that style of game where they're being heavier on their skates and whatnot, and these guys are just not used to that yet. So give them more time. It's not like everybody that's gets drafted and like shows some promise is going to be ready for the show right away. It doesn't mean that they're like you said that they're going to be a flop essentially. Sometimes they just need a little bit more seasoning, and I think if that's what they need, then I'd rather have that. It's kind of like if a guy gets injured, do you want to rush him back? No, you want him to be 100%. Well, you don't want to destroy a guy's confidence by taking him out of a league where maybe he needs to get more seasoning and throwing him into the NHL where he's just going to get pounced on. Again, I think just give him a little bit more time. Again, the fact that these guys are 6th and 7th round picks and they're playing in the AHL and contributing, then I think that's good enough for me right now.
Rob followed up and says it may be time to send them to play the ECHL for a while. No, it doesn't really quite work that way. They just need, if they're getting scratched, it's good for them to look at the game from the press box and see, they're studying film, they're doing all kinds of stuff. They'll get back. Going back to, sorry, I had it up here for a second and it went away. Talking about Doug Wilson and looking for trades. Trying to find where the quote was. He has a ghost roster, apparently, like a wish list that he keeps.
Oh, cool.
And they followed up and said, Angelo Nunes said it. Next time you interview Doug Wilson, you should ask him about his ghost roster.
Totally.
Yeah.
Would love to.
I mean, he probably won't tell us any names.
No, of course, but like just tell us about it, and how do you compile that roster? Are you getting that from your scouts first, or do you just specifically say, I want you looking at these guys? How does that get kind of put together? That'd be really interesting. I'd love to hear more about that for sure.
Do you think, this is from John, do you think DeBoer's on the hot seat?
No.
I feel like this is a weekly question. That's why I'm laughing.
No.
Sorry. No, we were just talking about it again with Kevin. We talked a lot about stuff with Kevin, I guess, this week, and it's fresh in my head. But if you haven't watched that, you should go back and watch it. It's only 32 minutes. It wasn't very long, but very good, insightful stuff there from Kevin. No, he's not on the hot seat. His extension just started this year. Not that really matters, as they fire people all the time, but to me, I feel like the Sharks are a little bit more loyal than most other teams would be. It helps that we're in a relatively smaller market compared to other, like Toronto or any of the bigger teams. But I think his job is safe. I think if the Sharks don't even make playoffs this year, I still think he's safe, only because the roster is not as deep as it was or could be. Hopefully next year there will be a lot more depth added.
Yeah. I think Doug Wilson knows he kind of handcuffed DeBoer a little bit. So I think
he's not going to hold that over his head.
Yeah,
kinda.
yeah.
So I think he's okay. I mean, unless the Sharks just all of a sudden tank and they just don't listen to him, maybe that's another way. But
so
who do you replace it with?
Yeah, no, that's the other part of it too. So we go back and we look at the first month wasn't very good, and everybody said, is DeBoer on the hot seat? Then November went extremely well, and nobody had anything to say about it. Mm-hmm. Then we have a 4-game losing streak, and all of a sudden, again, we're hearing, hey, is DeBoer on the hot seat? Teams are going to lose. Teams are going to lose in streaks sometimes. That doesn't automatically mean that the coach needs to get fired or that the coach's system doesn't work. We've seen the system work. It was all of November when it worked. So I have a hard time saying, well, let's just fire him because we have a 4-game losing streak. I think that's too much of a knee-jerk reaction. I think he's done a good enough job. We've seen that in that previous month, that showing that when they buy into the system, when they play the system, even when they're not healthy, we didn't have Hurdle for a few of those games, mm-hmm. right? And that's your second center. Second, I mean, realistically, this is either
he's your top center.
He's our top center, I think. Yeah. So, when we didn't have him in there, we were still winning games. So the system works. The system can work. Bugner's defensive system can work. You just have to buy into it. So I think that's more on the players than the coach. And if it's a motivational type of thing, or he's not motivating them enough, do you fire a guy because he can't motivate players enough and everything else works, or do you tell the players get yourself into shape? So I don't know. I don't think he's on the hot seat. And I'm with Aaron. Even if we missed the playoffs, I think he would still have his job.
Yeah.
If they miss playoffs twice in a row, though, because Doug Wilson's coming back next season with, okay, we're going to bolster up in certain areas to kind of correct the issue that we had. We're not going to overvalue our prospects as much as we thought they were going to be.
We'll also have some prospects that'll be more ready.
And exactly, one more year worth of growth for those younger guys. The older folks, maybe Jumbo does retire. Maybe Marlowe doesn't return. Who knows? But I think he will. But again, I think you'll have enough guys that get one more year of experience, and they'll kind of step their game up. Timo being one of those, right? We just got done talking about him a little bit. So, I don't know. I don't think that he's, like I said, I don't think he's on the hot seat. I think there's, even if we miss, I think he's fine.
Caretaker wanted, why do the Sharks still take a while to buy into the system when Pete DeBoer has been coach for 4 years now? Again, we talked about this a little bit with Kevin, that there were a lot of new faces in the lineup this year.
Yeah.
And it was almost like he had to do an evaluation of who was ready and who was not. And DeBoer has a very good read. He's a very good reader of players, if that makes sense, mm-hmm. if they are ready or not for the NHL. He has a good eye for it. So that's why we're seeing so many guys getting called up and sent back down to the Barracuda, because they're ready. They're ready, giving them a chance, and then they're not ready. Mm-hmm. So they need to work on this, and this. So it was too many new faces coming in and learning it. And when the system works and everyone's buying into it, knows where they need to go and what they need to do, it works. When one person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people don't know where they're supposed to be and they're running around with their heads cut off. Not that they were doing that, but a couple of cogs in the wheel are not working, and now we're seeing what happens.
Right, and I think even for the guys that have returned and from previous years and whatnot, and they do know the system, the whole buy-in part of it, it's not like they're sitting there thinking, well, I think coach is wrong, I'm going to do it my own way, right? They're not sitting around thinking that. It's just that there's kind of, when we say buy-in, we mean like the effort to actually be in the spot where you're supposed to be, to push the guy out when you're supposed to push the guy out, to not kind of go rogue sometimes and just do your own thing. That's what we mean by the buy-in. It's not that he's not motivated them or convinced them that this is the right way to play the game. It's just that they just don't execute it sometimes. And for whatever reason that may be. Now, Aaron just touched on some of the guys that were new to the team. We have to remember, like Noah, Gregor, they may play a similar system in the Barracuda, but they don't play it at NHL speed and specifically how DeBoer wants them to do it. So All the guys that got called up and rotated in that weren't really working out, and they've since been pushed back down. Again, Lukasz Radil is another one of those guys where again he got lambasted at practice. You've been here for a year. You should know this by now. I'll teach these younger kids, how to do it. And I don't want to have to deal with you. Like if this is what I'm going to get out of you, then I don't need you. Is basically what DeBoer was telling him. So that's the other kind of critique on DeBoer, is that he's not emotional enough. Trust me, the dude throws down when it's necessary. And there's a lot of it that we don't even see. There's a lot of it's behind closed doors. But there are times where right in the middle of practice, a public practice, everyone there can hear it and see it, and he's yelling and screaming at Lukasz that time around, and that's one of the few times I've seen it. But he doesn't mind doing it. So trust me, the guy's animated enough when he needs to be.
People get upset because they think that he doesn't yell.
Yes,
but he does. I think some of the players have said that he's on the bench. He's not like that. He doesn't yell. He in the locker room he will sometimes, but not a lot. And at practices he will, and it's
if necessary.
Right, if necessary.
Again, he's got a good pulse on his team. He knows if he needs to yell at them or if he doesn't.
He's not a drama queen that needs to be the head of attention.
Right.
So, real quick, I'm going to post the link to our store because as of today, and I think tonight it's shutting off, we have our Cyber Monday deal of 25% off on all stuff. So after tonight, it's going to be gone. Last chance to go get it. And let's say we'll take a couple more questions here, and then we're gonna log off and record our episode.
Did we ever put that up on socials, by the way?
I don't think we did.
Yeah, maybe we
probably should.
We'll put that up on socials, and maybe we'll talk about giving them a little extra time, I think. But we'll see. As of right now, it would be ending tonight. So if you're on the fence, we may not extend it. So may just go for it now. But anyway.
Coach Paul and Aaron as an assistant, by the way.
No, absolutely not. No, I coach my son's house league team, the Mites team, which is like ages 9 and under. Even though the other team had two 11-year-olds on it, I didn't complain.
You didn't ask for birth certificates?
No, I didn't care. The guy that runs the league was like, hey, I'll give you a couple of the bigger kids, because he knew I was working with my 6-year-old kids from travel. Like, I don't want the little the bigger kids. I'm going to keep my little kids. He says, okay. The whole season goes by. I know this is not Sharks related. The whole season goes by. 5, 4, and 1. Or no, 4, 5, and 1. I think is what it was. No, it was whatever. We were about 500, but we had an overtime loss. We played the championship game just the other day. Took it home, baby. So it was sweet.
That's pretty cool.
We went down 2 goals right on the first shift.
So no participation trophies, real trophies.
Nope, real trophy. But we didn't get a trophy. It was just, hey, hold it up, take a picture, then give it back to the league. Yeah. But so we were down 2-0. They come back and we tie it up. Then my son scores the go-ahead goal, 3-2. They come back and they score 2 more, so then it was 4-3. My son scores the game-tying goal. We go into overtime. My son scores the game-winning goal. Hat trick, baby. It was awesome.
Wow.
I was screaming from the bench. It was so cool.
Job,
yeah,
Jace.
it was great.
Awesome.
Anyway, that's just me, but whatever.
So there's a Fin Factor hat on the ice out there still.
And the what? Oh, yeah. No, I did. I threw it at him. I realized that he scored a hat trick afterwards because I didn't realize he had 3 goals. And I'm like, you got a hat trick? And I'm like, let me see the stats. And they show me the stats. And I look at him and I go, hey. And he looks at me and I grab my hat and I throw it at him.
Go get it.
Yeah.
Terrible.
No, it was cool though. Yeah, I was really proud. So maybe Coach Paul works. Who knows?
Paul's proving my point. He won the chip. I think he meant cup.
Yeah.
He's NHL ready. He's NHL coach ready. Real quick, there's rumors that Taylor Hall's gonna be going to Colorado. Yeah. Are you worried about that?
Yeah.
Can't do anything about it. Whatever.
No, totally, yeah. Now, does that make them an extreme powerhouse? Absolutely. The question is, who do they got to give up?
Yeah. Yeah, there's
got to give somebody up.
And Makar just got hurt. Kale Makar. I don't know how serious, but
you got to give somebody up because they're going to want, what, a prospect, a pick, first pick.
Yep.
And generally an NHL-ready player. So...
Yes,
who you gotta give up?
Rebuilding. I mean, they'll probably give them their first-round pick because they're not
totally,
going to care.
Totally.
What's the code for 25% off again? It is Cyber Monday.
It's on the website.
Cyber Monday 2019. It's on the website. When you go to the website, it's at the very top. There's a banner.
Just copy paste, yeah.
where was it? Why is Hall so highly hailed when New Jersey obviously wants to trade him? They want to trade him because it's the end of his contract. He's not going to resign.
They suck. He's going to be a unrestricted free agent, so he can go anywhere he wants.
They want to get something for him rather than nothing.
You may as well trade. If they were a playoff team, they would keep him, but they're not. They are so far in the dumps that there's no way they're going to recover at this point. So the thing that most teams are going to do is they're going to trade away all of their players that are unrestricted free agents that have 1 year left on their contract, and this year would expire it. They would say, I don't want to play New Jersey again because they're terrible. I'm going to go anywhere else and get paid.
I feel bad for New Jersey because they went out and shopped and got some really good players. On paper, they look like a really strong team. A lot of people were thinking that they were going to be a playoff team at least, and they've just been terrible. And part of it's goaltending for them, but it goes to show like winning the free agency race right on July 1st doesn't really translate all the time.
Yeah.
So whatever. But they really tried to build a team around him because they basically were building a team to woo him to sign longer.
Yeah.
And just didn't work out.
Well, you know what? There's going to be a team around whoever else they bring in then. Think of it that way. Whoever else they pick up.
First round pick.
Sure.
They had the first overall pick, right? Or second overall? 'Cause who was it?
Jack Hughes?
It was the first overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the first pick, yeah.
Right.
So that's who they're going to be building around now.
Cool.
I mean,
they'll have a lot of money left over to sign other people too.
That was also like to entice Hall to stay.
Yes.
I mean, Hall's not that much older.
Yeah.
He's 20, I don't know, 25, 20, something like that. Yeah, anyway.
Very good. We all in here? Or
yeah, let's...
anything else? Last ones?
Trade Dell for Keith Kincaid. Change my mind.
I wouldn't change your mind.
I would take that.
Here's the only thing. Do we know how much?
I don't
Keith
think New
Kincaid,
Jersey would do that.
Do we know how much Keith Kincaid
Doesn't matter.
makes?
It's not going to happen.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you were to trade Keith Kincaid and you give up Dell, give him something else too, like a sixth or whatever it is, right? Just something extra. At the very worst, you have another capable backup who's not that expensive, I'm sure.
Where is Keith Kincaid? Is
He's
he in New Jersey?
Yeah.
He's not showing up on there.
At the very worst, you have another capable backup, right? Because I think Dell's a capable backup. I just think that we haven't played very well in front of him, quite frankly. I don't think it's fair to say Dell sucks because realistically, there's been a lot of times where the play in front of him has not been good. Now, he did have the one goal with 25, 35 seconds left that went over his shoulder, yes. He made the bad play behind the net at least twice that we've seen this season where he made a bad play.
Oh, he's on Montreal now. Sorry.
Oh, Kincaid's on Montreal. That's right. I'm sorry. He was with New Jersey. That's how DeBoer knew him. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he makes a bad play every now and then. So swapping Dell out for Kincaid or even Koshinash coming in from the AHL or anybody else who's a current backup, it's just a backup. And I hate to say it like that, but it's not going to make or break your team. If you make it to the playoffs, you're not really going to play your backup unless your starter gets injured. So to me, yeah, sure, swap him out for somebody else. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great guy because I've seen him practice and chat with him. He's really nice and everything else. But if you swap him out for another backup who's even of the same quality, sure, why not? Give it a go. Maybe it sparks that guy, to play well when you change the scenery, kind of thing, right? So I wouldn't be against it because to me it would be like swapping out, Noah Gregor for somebody else who has an opportunity to play on the fourth line. It's not going to make or break you. So, I'd be cool with it, like whatever. I think Keith Kincaid is a good enough backup goaltender. He was touted as a guy that was supposed to maybe take the reins at some point. Like he was supposed to be pretty good, but maybe that fell off, and maybe all he's going to be is a career backup, and that's okay. But I just don't think it's that big of a thing that it would make or break the team at this point. So, yeah, sure, swap Dell out for another backup. I'm cool.
Right. Just real quick, is there an available right wing that Doug Wilson trade for? Palmieri would be a nice fit. I agree. I like Palmieri. But
he's a Devil, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's 2 years, this year and next year, at $4.6 million.
No.
So it's too much. Yeah. I like him, but... No, and we
need cost effectiveness right now. That's why we have Patrick Marleau.
He was at the All-Star game.
Yeah, we talked
to him. Yeah,
you asked him about the.
He used to play for the Ducks.
Travel.
I was like, "Do you miss?"
You asked him about travel.
Well, I also asked, do you miss being in California? Because he's in
Nah.
New Jersey. And he was like, well, yeah, the weather's pretty nice. That was pretty fun.
Cool.
Any predictions for the Nashville game, real quick?
Predictions for the Nashville game?
Tomorrow? Or Tuesday. Sorry, Tuesday.
Yes, we have prediction for the Nashville game, and you will see that when our episode comes out. Boom.
All right. Let's end it. Thanks for watching. Tune in. We'll have our episode out tomorrow. Right, Jay?
No.
Probably Tuesday.
Tuesdays.
Tuesday mornings. We'll have it out. And thanks for watching. And we appreciate it. And thanks for all the Super Chat money. Really appreciate that, too. And don't forget to go to our store. And our deal is going to be ending probably tonight. Probably not. I don't know. We'll see. But the code is up there. All right. Anything else you want
No,
to
I'm
add?
just letting you go. Yeah,
No,
you're
anything
good.
else?
Go ahead, fire away.
That's it.
Okay.
All right.
Tell him.
Tell them what?
Tell him.
Tell them what?
Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Bye.